Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King Sport. That is Jay Motti, and this is our year in review. 2023 is almost over, and maybe so is Ten Hag's career at Manchester United. But there's a lot to go through. A lot has happened this year, and despite the fact that things aren't feeling particularly good at the moment, there's still some awards to hand out, isn't there?
There is. There's some gongs. We've got a few gongs we're going to dish out for the people then.
So we're going to be looking at most improved player. I think we maybe should look at most disappointing player as well. We'll be looking at player of the season.
Big debate.
And we will rate the manager out of 10 as well for how he has done in the year 2023. But let's start way back in January. Some people call it the first month of the year, Jay. I call it an opportunity to start winning some bloody games. And United were winning games. It may be hard to remember now. United were flying. We started the year with wins against Bournemouth, Everton, Charlton and City as well to cap things off. We ended the month with a draw against Palace and a loss to Arsenal, but we advanced to the League Cup final and we ended the month 7 points behind Arsenal, but 4 points ahead of 5th place Spurs. We also brought in Sabitzer, Weghorst and Butland.
Can we just get into that right straight away?
Yep.
Because January kind of infuriated me a little bit.
Okay.
Like, I get you don't know how the season's going to pan out and you have a budget and you have sort of the amount of money you can spend and all the rest of it. And we went quite big in the summer. So we went into January sort of thinking, okay, we can't really spend much money because we bought in Casemiro, we bought Anthony, we bought Martinez, we bought Ericsson, we bought Malacia and all the rest of it. Yeah, we've spent a lot of money in that summer. But by the time we got to January, we were fighting on 4 fronts. We progressed in the Europa League.
Yep.
We got to the Carabao Cup final. The FA Cup had yet to start, but so we're obviously still in it. And we were in 4th spot, but not a million miles away from the top of the league.
7 points behind Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's not
so and also we'd lost Ronaldo. We'd lost our top scorer from the previous season after the summer. So you're weak. You're looking at the squad going, we need reinforcements because we've got all these competitions that we're all in the shout of winning. We've lost our top scorer. What are we going to do about it? Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll go and get a striker who's not only on loan from Burnley. Burnley have already loaned him out to Besiktas because they don't even need him in the Championship, but we'll bring him in as the answer to all our problems. Marcel Sabitzer, fair enough, he was at Bayern Munich, like a decent midfielder at a massive club, and Butland, or Dubravka at first, who basically was swapped for Butland, is a bit of a no-brainer. It's your third choice goalkeeper. It's not that deep. But the Weghorst one was really frustrating because we had the opportunity, Joe.
Yeah.
For me, if we'd have gone, look, let's just take money off future budgets. Let's work away. We've got money for dividends and all the rest of it. Let's get a striker in who can do bits in the Premier League because we're fighting on all these fronts here. We could win more than one trophy. We could maybe even do a madness in the league, and we didn't. We just went, well, he scored 2 goals in his last 20 appearances in the Premier League. Let's get him in. And I'm not blaming Weghorst because I thought he actually did all right when he came. He ran himself into the ground. He played his part in winning the Carabao Cup, but that January transfer window was massively frustrating for me because we could have and should have done better.
Yeah, we should. Moving on to February then, you mentioned they're winning the Carabao Cup. Ended the month with massive wins in a row against Leicester, then Barcelona, then Newcastle to win that Carabao Cup. Ended the month in 3rd, 7 points now ahead of 5th place Liverpool. So creating that little buffer there, it was a good month. We a couple of draws. We drew against Leeds in a way at Barcelona, but won the tie. It was a good month, February, wasn't it?
It was mint. Like I went to the both legs of the Barca game. Went to the Nou Camp for the first time. Actually, funny enough, it's the first time I've been to the Nou Camp. Absolutely loved it, even though we drew. That felt like a big draw.
It was a good performance.
It was a good performance away at one of the toughest grounds in the world to go to. Yeah. The atmosphere was phenomenal. I was in the Barca end, it was just great. Although a few United fans were getting dragged out by the security when they were celebrating Casemiro's. Well, we thought it was Casemiro's goal, but it was obviously an own goal. You went to the home leg as well, didn't you? Yeah. A great night under the lights at Old Trafford, beating Barcelona. It doesn't matter whether it's the Champions League or the Europa League. Beating Barcelona is always a great moment. It's not like you see those results every week. So that was a big night. On the flip side, there were some deflating performances and results. The annoying thing for me, it wasn't even the results were bad. I thought February was a decent month. That Casemiro red card.
Yeah.
Against Palace.
Yeah.
Where he went, whatever like that, to Will Hughes. You see that every week and no one ever gets a red card. And Casemiro got red carded for it. It was so annoying. I think everyone was panicking, thinking, oh my God, is he going to miss the Carabao Cup final? He didn't, obviously, and we won it. Fantastic. But, yeah, that red card was just so annoying because it shouldn't have been a red card.
No.
You know what I mean?
Moving into March then, we beat West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round. Then maybe a sort of pivotal moment, actually, as the season went on and as Ten Hag's tenure has gone on. The 7-0 loss to Liverpool. Just a sort of earth-shattering result, really. As far as United as a football club are concerned, one of the worst single matches in our history, that, isn't it? Losing 7-0 to a rival, and not just a rival, the rival. It doesn't really get a lot worse than that, does it?
We've almost skirted over it as well, haven't we? Because there was the Carabao Cup in February.
Yeah.
The win. Sorry, and I've almost forgot that. And, that was from going from the high of that, the Carabao Cup win, and when people start calling it the fizzy drink energy cup, like trying to disparage it. It's a trophy.
Sorry, who calls it that?
Like Arsenal fans.
Oh, yeah.
Have you never heard them?
No.
Like, because we won a trophy and they didn't, all of a sudden they stopped calling it the Carabao and went like, oh, United fans getting hyped because they've won the fizzy drink energy cup.
Well, you can do that with any of the cups,
like,
can't you?
Yeah, you can call it, I don't know.
Shut the FA Cup.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nicely done. It is a trophy. It's a major trophy. It ended a 6-year trophy drought. It was a great day at Wembley. We were all there. Had a good time against a good Newcastle side that never really turned up, if we're being brutally honest. And it was good to win a trophy comfortably. It never felt like we were under much pressure. So a great result. And then you're going into March. You've just won a trophy. You're doing really well. Everyone's buzzing. You're on a high. And then Anfield happens. Just the worst result that's happened in my lifetime for Manchester United. There's no... People go, well, do you remember the time when City beat us 6-1? City beat us 6-1, we were still in touching distance of the title, and they actually took him to the final day. And you knew it was just a massive, massive anomaly, and that we were still going to be there or thereabouts coming in the season, which we were. And the season after that, we won the league. Newcastle beat us 5-0, I think, years ago. I think we ended up winning the league that season, or the season after. We've always sort of bounced back when we've had these bad results. To lose 7-0 at Anfield, it was worse than the 5-0 at Old Trafford under Ole. It was just horrible. Yeah. So, and it was weird because it was one of those games where, after that game, you could go, oh, the manager's in trouble here. But he just lifted a trophy, so he wasn't. Yeah. And it wasn't like you could go, all these players are terrible, because they've been playing well all season. And it wasn't like we were just absolutely ravaged by injury. Most of our team was available. Yeah. It was so weird.
And it was 1-0 at half-time as well. That was the other thing, wasn't it?
And
as
people
we always talk about.
Hammered Gary Neville because he said we were the better team in the first half. We were saying the same thing. Yeah. We had more chances. We were the better team in the first half. In the second half, they had 6 shots and scored 6 goals.
Yeah. Off the Bar is brought to you by Green King Sport. And what better time this Christmas season than to get the guys together and go and watch every single Christmas cracker fixture at your local pub. None of this dodgy stream nonsense where you're trying to find some weird refresh and the ads are popping up. Go down to your local Green King Sport pub and check out every game this festive season.
Yes, love that. Every fixture, whether it's on TNT, whether it's on Amazon, whether it's on Sky, it will be live at Green King Sports. So go down there, you can watch it on an Ultra HD TV. You can see all the top bins volleys, the VAR decisions, all that controversy, all those goals, all that excitement. It might not be that exciting with United games, but you can watch all the games anyway, and you can do it down at Green King's Pub in an atmosphere worth sharing.
And the best thing of all, if you download the Green King Sport app, you will get 10% off drinks every time there's sport on the TV. That genuinely, 10% off drinks for having an app. Perfect. Go and download the app. The link is in the description. Check it out. Thank you once again to Green King Sport for sponsoring Off the Bar. Yeah.
Awful.
Into April then, and things were just looking a little bit thin. Things just started to go wrong, didn't they? We got knocked out of the Europa League to Sevilla. We won in the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton, but it was a game that they were the better team in. United really struggled to scrape through. Lost to Newcastle, drew with Spurs, and we beat Forest, Everton, Villa and Brentford, which is obviously very good. But that, following the Liverpool performance, that Brighton performance made me think there are teams in the league who are more well-oiled than we are, who are putting things together a little bit better than we are at the minute. And it worried me for that FA Cup final, which we knew was going to be against City, and we knew was obviously going to be an absolute nightmare. Just as a sort of a bigger look at the season and the year, what has been your best moment of the year so far? I say so far, it's over. What was it?
Well, you never know. Something spectacular may happen.
That's true.
On later on tonight.
On this New Year's Eve.
Yeah. For me personally, go to the new camp.
Yeah.
That draw. It was a ground. It was one off the bucket list. I've always wanted to go to that ground. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine. I've never been. And obviously we've had some mad results in games at the new camp that I should have been at, but I wasn't for various reasons. So to finally go there, I know it's only a 2-2 draw, but it was a great trip. I was there with one of my best pals as well, so we was over there together. Met some great United fans as always, and I was in the Barcelona and got a ticket on the day. Managed to get in after, it looked like you weren't going to be able to because we were clamping down on non-Barca fans being in the Barca end. So yeah, that for me was just a really great moment, and I came out of that ground on a proper high. I probably came out of that ground on more of a high than I did coming out of Wembley after we won the Carabao Cup. Do you know what I mean? Because I've seen us win the League Cup at Wembley probably about half a dozen times. I've lost count how many times I've been at Wembley to see us lift, the League Cup in particular. I've seen us win it quite a lot. So it was great, but it wasn't like, I've never done that before. Whereas I've never been to Nou Camp before, and to come out there, we're not embarrassed ourselves. It was a good result. I was buzzing. I'd had a good night. It was great, and then obviously, when you look back in it, it helps us. The fact we beat him in the return leg as well. It was just a good tie overall. So yeah, that was my moment. What about you, big man?
I think in terms of the single moment I enjoyed the most, it was probably beating City at Old Trafford.
Yes.
That was fantastic. Just the way it happened. Again, the momentum felt like we were just flying. Rashford was scoring every week. Obviously, I didn't think we were going to catch City in terms of the league that season, but it felt as though actually we're not shit.
No.
You can't just come here and dominate us and bully us like they did the season before. We can hold our own, and even if you score first, we'll come back and we'll beat you. That felt fantastic leaving the ground after that game. I think in terms of what might be the best moment, when we look back in 2 to 5 years' time, might be Jim Ratcliffe taking over and Ineos taking over the footballing side of things. That could be the most sort of influential moment,
both really good points you made there. I'll be honest with you, and my pal who I mentioned was in Barcelona with, me and him was at the derby together. He came in the TRA with me, and we've been going to United he's a similar age to me, he's a couple of years older. We've been going to United for years, seen United all over the world, seen us win a lot, and we both agreed that atmosphere against City was one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen at Old Trafford, if not the best. It was phenomenal.
Fantastic.
We was in the ground after the game for about half an hour still celebrating. People bounced on the chairs. It was so good. And everyone got behind the team. Obviously, to go a goal down behind City and win is unheard of. And we were good value for it. Everyone got caught up in that whole controversy about Bruno's goal and all that other garbage. We deserved that win. We battled. We played better. We got the win. Garnacho was unreal when he came on. Great performance. Great turnout from the fans. City fans were, I've heard more noise in a library. Pathetic as always. And yeah, it was just a great day. It was. My only regret is I was going to take my lad and I didn't because I was worried. Bastard. If I'd taken him and we get hammered, he might be like, I want to be a United fan.
I want to be a City fan.
Yeah, and I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk that. Yeah. So I thought I'll save that for the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
But
he was already converted by then.
But yeah, it was. You're right. Great shout. And obviously the Ratcliffe thing as well. 100% here. We might look back at that and go, that was the pivotal moment that changed the fortunes of Manchester United Football Club and finally led to the end of the bloody Glazer family ownership.
Yes. Let's move on to May then. At the end of April, United had 63 points, just one ahead of Liverpool. So we were in 4th, they were in 5th. We had a game in hand, but it was looking at that moment like, hang on a sec, we've gone out of the Europa, we've dropped a few points here. Brighton looked better than us. Liverpool battered us. Liverpool are catching us. They were on a great run of games. The last couple of months had just been a bit tumultuous after that League Cup. And then Liverpool are a point behind us. We've got a game in hand. And then, strangely, into May, so we lost to West Ham and Brighton, but then we beat Wolves, Bournemouth, Chelsea and Fulham. And in the end, I think Liverpool dropped some points as well. And we ended up finishing 3rd. I think 5 or 6 points clear of Liverpool by the end.
It was mad that, wasn't it? Because I remember me and you doing a previews and I said, well, I thought we'll lose to West Ham and Brighton, but we'll win our home games. But we think we beat Bournemouth as well, which is away. It was really weird time that as well because I felt, just sorry not to go backwards a little bit, but I felt like, was that the time as well, when we played Sevilla, was that in May?
Sevilla was April.
April, sorry.
Yeah, so
I felt like Sevilla away was the end of David De Gea at United.
Oh, good point.
I really did. Me and you was on the watch along. And honestly, I'm not trying to mock the kid. I love him. But at one of their goals, I laughed. It was comical. Yeah. It was genuinely like, it was like something out of a Monty Python sketch or something. I was like, this is just ridiculous. Yeah. And I just could not see the kid surviving that. I just thought, and it wasn't just that. There was the West Ham game where he dropped one. There was a couple of other things, and unfortunately for him, it was going to get worse in the FA Cup final. But I remember after that Sevilla game, me and you were chatting, and we both agreed De Gea, like, even next season, not even long term, was done under this manager. It's like, this manager will not stick with this player, and we were right, he didn't.
No. And obviously, we lost the FA Cup final to City. A game that was almost over before it started, as it started.
Yeah, I had something, lad, and we sat down. You got them bucket hats under your seat.
Yeah.
That got dashed before you knew it as well, by the way. And put his hats on, and I was like, don't do these today, son. And as I'm telling him this, Gundogan scored. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then my relief was that we made a game of it.
Yeah.
Because I thought we were going to get battered. They've scored after 20 seconds. I thought, this is going to be 7 or 8-0. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
And we'll, you know, like, I can stomach that barely, but he'll be just crying his eyes out. But thankfully, we made a bit of a game of it. It was just incredibly annoying that we didn't really make enough of a game of it. And I think I go back to what I'd said about January, when coming off the bench, I think we had Wout Weghorst. And Garnacho did well, to be fair to the kid. But they had, like, Phil Foden, who scored like 17 goals, whatever it is, that season. Yeah. And you think, look at their bench and look at ours. Look what they're winning, and look who they can bring on, and look who we're bringing on. We're bringing on someone who's not managed to get a goal in the Premier League this season. Yeah. And they're bringing on someone who's got about 15 or whatever. It's night and day, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there was your, not just your only issue, but there's your big issue there. The fact that they've just got a much better squad and a better 11.
Yeah.
And we're just playing catch up.
Yeah. Before we get to the summer then, looking at the whole season, the whole year, sorry, not just up until that point, who is your most improved player this year? Who do you think has taken the biggest strides forward? I mean, there's been a lot of most declining player or most declined player. Who would you say has been your most improved player? And it can be a new signing that's improved since we signed them, or, you know, however you want to.
It's weird because if you'd have asked me this in June, the obvious answer would have been Marcus Rashford, because he was absolutely flying. But he's had a second half of the year to forget about. I mean, he's got, what, 3 goals, is it, this season? 4? No, 3, I think, is it, for United?
Against Forest, obviously, but...
Yeah, which is what...
far between.
Yeah, it's like his 3rd goal of the season, I think that is.
Yeah.
So it'd be a stretch to say he's most improved, because he's probably playing worse more recently than he was early on this year. I'm looking at it and I'd probably go, I mean, it's so sad that there's not many to choose from, in all honesty. I'm tempted to go Alejandro Garnacho.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like, and it's not even that he's necessarily took great leaps in his form or his performances than when we saw earlier. He's just been given more responsibility. Yeah. And I think he still takes that responsibility on. And he's got a lot to learn. He can be greedy. He can make his bad decisions. But one thing I will say about Alejandro Garnacho, and some of his teammates might well look at this, he never gives up. Yeah. He keeps going. And even when he's having a bad game, he's still a threat. And
Steve made the point in his review of the game yesterday that when he gets in that position, he was expecting a step over onto his right foot and try to have a shot, maybe go near post. That square to Rashford shows a bit of growth just in his decision making.
Just a little bit. That's all you say. That's what I say. And by rights, you'd be bringing him in as a sub. He'd be starting once every 5-6 games, whatever. You'd maybe be doing like you used to do back in the day with some of these teenagers at United. You bring them in gradually, and then they get into the first team. He's been thrown in because basically a lot of his teammates have just fallen off a cliff form-wise.
Yeah.
And I think he's much better than the €100 million player that's on the other wing. So. Yeah. I'd probably go Garnacho. I don't think there's been massive improvements since he got into the team to now, but I think in terms of the responsibility he's been given.
From where he was in 2022 to where he is now, he's improved.
And he's a good kid as well. I mentioned this a lot. I know I talk about this all the time, but I was lucky enough to take my lad down to Carrington. They did an event there where you met Garnacho and Palestre, and he seemed like a nice lad. Yeah. He had, you got a good impression of him. So I just think he's a good player who could be a great one. He could be. I know there's a big, maybe around that, but he could be a true great if he does the right things and he gets treated well as well by the club. They've got to make sure he's managed the right way.
I think if we're looking at
About you?
from the start of the year to now,
Yep.
it has to be Harry Maguire for me.
You know what? I did consider that.
Yeah.
I did, because I think that at the start of the year, and I'll be honest with you, Joseph, I got annoyed at Wembley at the Carabao Cup final when he shared the trophy with Bruno. Because I thought, no, just let Bruno have that. I know we've got brought on Maguire, I think, a few minutes ago. I thought, come on, man. Like, I've seen Eric trying to do that with Bruce at Wembley, and Bruce was like, no, I'm not doing that. You've won this one. You know, in 96, I think it was. And I just felt it didn't need to be the double thing. But my point I'm making is, at that time, he was almost a figure of ridicule, a figure of fun. People like, he needs to go. Obviously. He's, get rid of him, he's done, what's he doing? And to the point where I was at the Bayern Munich game the other week, he got injured. And everyone was gutted. Yeah. Like, genuinely, everyone's like, oh no, because we need him. And there's a case to be made that, you know, we might have even got some out of the game against Forest, whatever he'd been playing. You never would have said that a few months ago. No,
it's been a like you said, he ain't got the ceiling of Garnacho or whatever, the potential. It doesn't feel as exciting. But to go from being ostracised, ridiculed, whatever, to being, you know, when everyone's fit, he might be playing at the minute. Although maybe not Martinez, but he's been out for so much of the season. I think it's a good sign from him.
We'll get involved. People get involved in the comments in the chat, right? Because it's not an easy one, that. Because every player you go through, you know, I'm thinking, what are these two on about? Garnacho, Maguire. Okay, fair enough. Who would you pick? Because it's not an obvious one where you go, that player has improved a lot this year. No. There isn't many to choose from. So what I hear, there's no right or wrong answer, obviously. So let's hear what you guys have got to say.
Yeah, so then talking about June, David De Gea has left. Into July, we sign Onana to replace him. We get Mason Mount. We head to the pre-season tour. Then into August, we sign Højlund and Johnny Evans. And then the season begins, and it's been pretty scrappy ever since, hasn't it? That 1-0 win against Wolves, which was lucky, really, to say the least.
Set the tone out, didn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't realise at the time. I think we thought that was a bit of an anomaly, how we played. That's just early season jitters. Wolves probably surprised us. Martinez not fully fit. We'll be all right. Yeah. That was kind of indicative of where we've been at all season. Yeah. Even our wins, by and large, have been unconvincing. Yeah. And our losses, some of them have been just abysmal.
As we move through August, we then start hearing these reports that United are set to bring back Mason Greenwood. Then we see the backlash. Then United sort of U-turn on that, even though there was never an official turn in the first place. But pretty much all the journalists, are in agreement that United had briefed other parts of the club that he was going to be coming back. That then didn't happen. He goes to Getafe. We signed Amrabat and Reguilon after injuries to Shaw and Malacia. We lost to Spurs. We won against Forest. It was, like you said before, that Wolves game sort of set the tone for the season. It was scrappy and bitty and shit, and we obviously handled that Greenwood situation terribly, regardless of what you think of him or what happened. It wasn't smooth, seamless, confident, controlled. It was nervy, silly, stupid, thoughtless, like all of the things you don't want to be as a club. That's how we handled it.
It just feels like, doesn't it? Like, it's almost like from the bottom upwards, people looking above them going, what is going on here? Like, players probably looking above them going, and the manager and the coach and going like, are you on board with these decisions? What's being decided? What is happening? Yeah. The manager's looking above him, probably going with the CEO, what's happening with you guys? What are you thinking? It just feels like the sort of the hierarchy at United, it's all confused, and there's no sort of, or there wasn't any decisiveness when it came to like the Greenwood situation. That was a sort of indicative of that, because you must have had the manager knowing about that. I can't imagine the manager found out when he turned on his telly that United were going to bring back Mason Greenwood. He must have been involved in that conversation. Yeah. The CEO obviously did that statement, which was terrible, Richard Arnold, and then journalist Adam Crafton, who you spoke to, you did a very good interview with, who spoke about breaking that story and it being leaked, and then was putting out the feelers, and then that nonsense about, we'll wait till Mary Earps and all them get back from the World Cup and see what they want to do about it. What's that? Yeah. That's mental.
Yeah, it is mental.
What are you on about?
It was just so stupid how the whole thing was handled. Before we move on, let's get into player of the season, because this is a big one. I want to get to the
player of the year, yeah?
Yeah, player of the year. I want to get to the manager's rating afterwards. I was just thinking through this as you're chatting then, obviously before the show. I think this is so difficult.
The player of the year?
I think it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Every time you think of someone, you think, no, they were shit for that portion of the season. No, he's not even been that good. Like I'm thinking, like Rashford had the best end to last season, but even then, the final few games he didn't score many goals.
Yeah.
But Rashford's had the highest peak of anyone this year, I would say.
Yeah.
Martinez was excellent, but he's been injured for most of this season. Casemiro was good for a lot of last year, but has been injured and not good this season. Onana's been up and down. I'm almost edging towards Bruno because he's been a 6 out of 10 throughout the whole thing.
I'm not edging, bro. It's a tapping for me. It's him.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. I know people go, Bruno, Dave, what are you on about, Bruno? You've just listed there, right? Luke Shaw, up and down form-wise this year. If you're going to be taking it the last 12 months, he's been all over the gaff. He's missed big chunks of matches from injury, yeah? You've already said. Maguire, he's had a purple patch. Let's not pretend he's had a great 12 months. That's insane to even claim that. I know you're not. Rashford has fallen off a cliff form-wise. Garnacho, he's been bright and he's shown sparks, but he's not exactly set the world alight in terms of numbers and the rest of it. And also, there's been parts of the year where he's not even been in the team. Eriksen was injured for a big part of it. Hasn't really hit the heights that we've seen last season. None of the new signings have done enough to make you think the last 12 months, they've been that good the last 6 months. That makes them good enough to be the player for the last 12 months, if you know what I mean. It
sort of has to be Bruno, doesn't it?
For me, I don't even think it's debatable.
No.
I don't. I think there's no one where you can go, what are you on about? It's him. Who then? Yeah. Who? It's not going to, not goalkeeper, forget it. Defence, Martinez, if he hadn't got injured, would have probably been it, but he did, so he's not.
Yeah.
Midfield, you've mentioned them all. Casemiro had obviously injuries and form deserted him. Eriksen injuries and a bit of form as well. Mason Mount's never got going. Kobe Mainoo, love the kid, but he's played like 5 games for Manchester United in his entire life. Yeah. So he's not going to be player of the year. And then the attack, this year, the attack have all collectively fallen off a cliff when it comes to the form. Yeah. Other than Rasmus Højlund, who's done well in the Champions League. But again, in the Premier League, he's got 1 Premier League goal. And we only got him in August, so we're not going to make him player of the year. No. So it just has to be Bruno for me.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah, I think there's no other option. People can have a go and, at him or at us or whatever and say, oh, he's not captain. He's had a lot of stick as well. But like you said, we've just been through the squad. Name a player you think has been better across those 12 months. There just isn't one. I don't think there's even an argument,
isn't it, bro? Yeah. When people go, why is Bruno captain? All right, then who should be captain? And people might say, Johnny Evans. I've seen Macca say, and to be fair, Macca said that when we made him McTominay captain. Johnny Evans doesn't play every week, and he's probably not going to. And also, you can't take it off Bruno and give it to someone who doesn't play every week. McTominay isn't the captain. He's captain at Anfield, and that, by rights, is probably going to be the last time he'll be captain of Manchester United. Maguire, again, in and out of the team. Like, it's the same thing with Bruno now. Yeah, same thing now. You look at it and you go, okay, if it's not him, who is it? Yeah. And I think you could have loads of people. I think everyone could tell us who it isn't. But when you say, okay, who is it then? You're struggling. And just for the fact he plays pretty much every minute of every game, plays in lots of positions, has captained the team, did captain us to a trophy win, did captain us to a top 3 finish, has played well and scored some fantastic goals as well during the last 12 months, including in this season. Yeah. Yes, he's not been as consistent as I'd like to see, and he can be a frustrating player. But for me, he has been our player of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Just moving into this season, I think we can sort of go over this a little bit quicker because it's more recent. We remember we're currently in it. United have lost 14 of the 28 games that they've played.
Amazing.
We've seen howlers from Onana basically sort of getting out, pushing us out of the Champions League. Not that everyone else's performances were great in those games either, but certain crucial moments and times where he's throwing the ball in the back of his net.
Let's be honest about it, right? And I like Andre Onana. I think he's a good keeper, and I feel a bit sorry for the kid, but he has cost us the Champions League this season. Yeah. It's not even like we're not MUTV. Well, we've such and such a thing, and we took our chances better. We went away from home, 3 times and scored 3 goals and didn't win any of them games. Yeah. Like that game at home against Galatasaray was genuinely one of the worst performances I've ever seen by a goalkeeper for Manchester United. He just absolutely had one. So you've got to be honest about it. I think he can still turn it around. I think he'll be a good keeper, and he's shown signs in the Premier League. But in terms of Champions League, yes, he saved that penalty against Copenhagen, but that doesn't distract from the fact he cost us at least 3 games. Yeah. Moving through to November, which was a weird sort of, almost like a mirage, like in a sea of shit. Ten Hag won Manager of the Month. Amazing. Harry Maguire won Player of the Month. Garnacho won Goal of the Month in the Premier League. Since then, crazy, isn't it? In December,
we've lost 5 games in December. Obviously, sort of statement win against Aston Villa last week. But that aside, it's been pretty disastrous since we won those awards. I know we only beat, who was it we beat? Everton, Fulham and Luton. But we didn't concede a goal in those games. We won all of those games. And it's been horrendous since then.
It's a shame as well because we can't build on anything.
I know.
That performance against Everton was probably our best performance of the season as an overall performance. I know the first half wasn't great, but the second half was much better. The goal from Garnacho was obviously fantastic. And, we even got to the point where we were letting, our first choice penalty taker was giving it to Marcus to take a penalty because we felt, confident enough to do that. It was a great performance, and it's like you just don't build on it. And like you say, the weird thing about November is those results in the Premier League were great, but we still had issues elsewhere, and it maybe flattered to deceive a little bit, that didn't it?
Yeah.
If we're being brutally honest.
Yeah, unfortunately so. And then obviously into December, we've lost to Newcastle, Bayern Munich, Bournemouth, West Ham. And now, of course, Nottingham Forest as well.
And those performances, the Newcastle away performance was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, really,
I honestly don't think anyone was better than a 4 out of 10.
No.
Bayern Munich didn't turn up. We needed to win to at least stay in Europe, but we didn't. Bournemouth, probably results-wise.
Yeah, result.
Like the worst result at Old Trafford.
Since the 5-0, innit?
Since, yeah. Do you know what, though? There's a case that this is, I don't know, at least the 5-0, at least. We went down to 10 men at one point, and also Liverpool were flying. Bournemouth are probably going to finish about 12, and they absolutely took us to the cleaners. To a point where we were lucky it was only 3-0.
Yeah.
Like,
they had a 4th disallowed.
Yeah. I think that might be, performance-wise, the most embarrassing performance I've seen at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
it's
debatable.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think it hurts more because of the Scousers, because of our rivalry.
Yeah,
but to see a team that will do well to stay up, I know they will, but like they'll be happy that they're staying up. Just absolutely like have us over. It's just shocking.
Couple of positive results. Obviously, the Villa game, very good performance. I think our best performance of the season.
Second half, definitely.
Yeah, second half. And the draw away at Anfield, obviously, we sort of clung on a little bit. A lot of shots for Liverpool, but I think United deserved a draw.
100%. And me and you got a little bit of stick because we celebrated that final whistle. I don't give a toss.
No.
That was a big moment for us this season. Well, it should have been built on. It hasn't been. But going to Anfield, I don't think anyone has done it this season, got anything out of the game. To get a point when we're struggling, I know we'd had this little purple patch in November, but come on, we've just been beaten 3-0 off Bournemouth. To the point where for the next 2 weeks, Klopp was going on about the fact we parked the bus, even though we had the better chances.
Post-match in conferences from other games.
Yeah, he was still bringing it up.
United,
and we had the 2 best chances of the game. Garnacho went through and Oyland went through. And every shot Onana had to save, I could have saved. It was straight at him.
Yeah.
So it was a good result, even though it's only a draw. And I know you don't get too giddy over 0-0s, but a big positive one. The Villa game you've mentioned, the win against Chelsea, but those losses, man.
Yeah,
like,
really
horrible.
Obviously, it's a bit of a glib end to the season, to the year. Sorry, that loss to Forest when we thought it might be sort of on that trajectory. But I guess we can expect win loss all season. Really, getting to the sort of the final couple of awards then. First of all, the manager's rating out of 10, because it seems as though, the players. It's weird, isn't it? Because players come and go. You think in your head more than managers, and yet. If the players group together and fuck it off, it's the manager who goes at the end of the day, isn't it? So the manager's rating out of 10. What do you think Ten Hag deserves based on what he's done with what he's had at his disposal? Because there's been shitloads of injuries. There's been a lot going on off the pitch. The club has been for sale, and then it's not fully for sale, but something's changing, and the CEO's gone, and it's been a bit of a time of turmoil for United. What do you rate Ten Hag's 2023 out of 10?
Thing is, if this was going back for his entire tenure, he'd get a higher mark, because other than the opening, 2 games of the Premier League when he came in, I think he did well. We had some good results. We had the one at the Etihad, which was horrible, but we beat Arsenal, didn't we, early doors? We beat Liverpool early doors. There was, he got Old Trafford, he turned it into a fortress. But as a whole on 2023, despite the Carabao Cup win, I don't think it's been great.
No.
I'd probably go 5 out of 10 for 2023. Like I said, if you're going to back in his tenure, I'd probably give him a 6 because he won a trophy, finished third. You know, maybe he's edging towards a 7 even. But this year, on the whole, we've had a lot of bad results.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore that. And I don't really think it's good enough. I think if he has another 6 months, like the last 6 months, he's going to be in serious trouble.
Yeah.
He has got to turn this around because Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I don't know the man, but I don't think he's one for being very patient with people that fail him.
No.
So for me, if I'm Eric Ten Hag, I'm thinking, right, got an opportunity here with some big players coming back. Casemiro, Martinez, Mason Mount, 1 or 2 others as well, Luke Shaw. When they come back, we've got a pretty clear January, 1 Premier League game against Spurs in 2 weeks' time, 14th January, my birthday in case you're wondering. There's an opportunity here to get going again, but he's got to show something because if it carries on, he ain't going to see 2025 as United manager.
No. And finally, I've got 2 more questions for you.
Love this.
First of all, will Ten Hag... And actually, sorry, my rating is 6 out of 10.
Sorry, I didn't ask you.
No, sorry, I'd forgotten.
6 out of 10. Go on, why have you been a little bit kinder than I am?
Just because of the trophy.
Okay.
Because we haven't won a trophy in 6 years before that.
Yeah.
And I would have given Solskjaer some 5s and 6s and maybe even some 7s.
Yeah.
So I think it's slightly unfair on Ten Hag to not give him 5 is bang in the middle, neutral, as much good as bad. And I think that trophy is just enough of a sort of glimmer of light for me to push it to a 6. But I agree, the second 6 months has been
Do you know what I want to see
awful.
from Ten Hag? I want to see him win a game he's not really expected to.
Yeah.
Like, you might go, Jay, we beat Barcelona. We beat him at Old Trafford, and it was a Barcelona team that was beatable. Like, look at their results that season. I'm still old school that I think we should beat everyone at Old Trafford. And we did that last season pretty much, beat Liverpool, Arsenal, City. I expect us to win our home games. I know now we're not favourites because we've been horrible. But I want to see him win a game he goes into not as a favourite. I don't think he's done that yet as United manager. He did it at Ajax. But I think too often we've won games I expect us to be. People say, well, Newcastle at Wembley, we were favourites for that game.
Yeah.
Brighton in the semi-final, we were favourites for that game. Like, I want to see him do it where you go, oh, you know, Arsenal away or Spurs away or City away. Ollie did it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Van Gaal did it.
It's doable.
It's doable, man. That's one thing I want to see from Eric Ten Hag. And if he does that, then, you know, he'll not just keep his job, he'll shine.
And finally, biggest disappointment of the season, players-wise?
Of the year.
Of the year.
I think because of the way his year's panned out, it's got to be Marcus for me.
Ooh.
Because I think after that World Cup,
Yeah.
I was buzzing for him. And I love Marcus. I do. He's one of my favourite player. But I think his goals back a little bit towards the end of last season. The signs were there. Things were going a bit wrong for him. The tail end of last season, his goals dried up a little bit. I think he scored 2 in like his last 12 or whatever, which was, for him at that time, wasn't great. And this season, it's carried on, just not being great. I'm going to go... In fact, you know what? No, I'm going to change my mind, actually. Because I still feel like with Marcus, he's been a bit up and down, but I wasn't sure what we were going to see from him. No, I'll stick with Marcus.
Who was the other one, Anthony?
No, because I didn't expect much from Anthony. I'm going to get pelters for this. When you say disappointment, I'm thinking of what I expected and what he's delivered. I think a little bit of Casemiro's disappointed me.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because he's so good.
Yeah.
Anthony... I looked at his numbers. I didn't know anything about him. I looked at his numbers and thought, 8 goals and 4 assists? Okay.
Yeah.
And he's never really shown me much to think, oh, he's amazing. And then when he's terrible, I think, well, I'm disappointed in you. I know he scored a few goals in his first few games. Casemiro, when we got him, and after that first 4 games where he was finding his feet, was phenomenal for a bit.
Yeah.
And then he started getting suspended, and his form sort of went a bit up and down. You know, you look at Carabao Cup final, phenomenal, and then you look at other games, you think, where is he?
Yeah.
That Brentford game was probably the worst 45 minutes he's ever had in his life.
Yeah.
So he's been a bit of a disappointment, but I'm hopeful he'll turn that around because he's such a good player.
Yeah.
But just in terms of disappointment, what about you?
For me, it's got to be Sancho. Like a bloke who can't even get in the fucking dressing room, let alone on the pitch.
Yeah, I think you've got a better one than I have there. You've nailed that.
It literally is his fucking lanyard doesn't even work for.
Do you know how bad it is? I forgot about it.
Yeah,
I did, bro. If you'd have mentioned it before, I'd have remembered it. I probably said it, but I forgot it.
At the turn of the year as well, he was just coming back from his sort of sabbatical / go and get yourself right, private training, solo work. We're going to see a new Sancho. Everyone's flying. We're in the Carabao Cup final. We've got this, that and the other going on. We're still in the Europa. We're still in the FA Cup. United are in third. And actually, Ten Hag's going to do what he's done with Rashford, what he's done with other players at United, rejuvenating people's careers. Luke Shaw looks back to his best, all of this stuff. And then it's just been worse than ever.
Yeah. 100%.
And when you see the potential that he's had at United, and his career at United, let's face it, is done. The only way it's not done is if Ten Hag gets sacked and the new manager, for some reason, fancies a winger who can't be asked to
I don't want that though, Joe. I'll be honest with you. That's how bad it is. And you're right? I'm not going to change my name, but if I'd have remembered Sancho, I would have said him. I literally forgot about him.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Ridiculous.
Like, he's not even in my thoughts anymore. But I'll be... And I want players to do well. I always say it when I criticise someone or question them, I want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
With Sancho, I don't want to be getting behind him when he comes back if Ten Hag gets sacked because he decided I'll play for Manchester United now. He's just had, 3 months off, earning millions of pounds because he can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm not into that, man.
Like you say with Anthony, you go, I want him to prove me wrong. Because at least with Anthony, when you see him play, I don't doubt he's trying hard.
No.
And it's a shame that his quality isn't looking like it's good enough to be a Man United player. And it's a shame we spent too much money on him, etc., etc. But you can't say that with Sancho.
No.
When he plays, you think, what's he doing? And when he's not playing, he doesn't even try. He doesn't turn up. He doesn't, he's late, he's overslept, this, that, and all the rumours and reports.
Right. Can we stop treating laziness and oversleeping like it's some sort of disease?
Yeah.
Not setting your alarm isn't an illness.
No.
It's just... you can't be arsed.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you can get to work on time. That's not a medical condition.
No.
Like, I'm unable to set an alarm. You earn millions of pounds. You can literally pay someone to give them your house key, right? You can pay them to come out your house, wake you up with a brew, go, get up. Yeah. That's their job, and get you to work on time. And you still have lots and lots of money left over. You pay someone 100 quid a day or whatever to do that. It's just nonsense. He just can't be bothered. And he got away with it for that long that it's become second nature to him. So it's just, I always want to get behind players. I always want him to prove me wrong. But with Sancho, man, I just feel like he just needs to go, man. He just does. Yeah. Because he just always doesn't want to be here. He's never really shown us what we saw at Dortmund. And I feel like if Ten Hag gets sacked and Sancho comes back, it feels to me like a kick in the face to us as well. Yeah. That's how I feel. You might disagree.
No, I agree. He's gone beyond the point of no return, I think. You can't sack it off and then expect to be loved again just because you decide to try for a new manager or hope that the new manager's, doesn't expect you to turn up on time and doesn't expect you to be professional or whatever the thing is that Ten Hag's fallen out with them about. It's just not going to wash, is it?
No, it's not, bro.
Right, thank you very much for joining us. Get your thoughts in the comments below. Who is your player of the year? How would you rate Ten Hag out of 10? Another question for you. Will Ten Hag be here at the start of next year, 2025? Jay's got his doubts. I have as well, unfortunately, but I've got my fingers crossed. Get your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King Sport. Make sure you go and check them out. Give them a follow. Download the app. All of that good stuff. The link is in the description, and we'll see you in a bit.